Hey everyone, it's Sly47 here. Today we're going to be talking about the best heavy cruisers in this game, and to start us off, editing Sly, well you hit the comments there from Alistair and Soulfire. Oh buddy, it just makes you wanna drink. Okay, so let's talk about heavy cruisers in this game. First up and foremost, before we even get into categories, unfortunately, let's remove a few. This video is actually coming out in the middle of something, and of course everyone probably has already seen that video. If you haven't, I'll put the link down below and like that, but let's remove a few of the heavy cruisers in this because there's so few actually in this game, and I think that there's a bunch that I think just basically people should just dodge. They should. Okay, so Goliath. I know some people are immediately going, but it got buffed! It did. It definitely did, and I think it's in a better place. It's no longer in its own area. But without Jellicoe, without the camo, it is still a horrible grind. Still one of the worst tier 5s in this game. It's only really good at kiting because its AP is anemic. Its HE is good, it is, but it really does need Jellicoe to make that HE really nice. And like that, it's just... Yeah, I'm really hoping the St. Vincent line is good, but don't worry. Granddad, there's still an HMS line in here, and there will still be one there. I'm betting everyone's going, wait, what? There's still a heavy cruiser? Yeah, there is still a heavy cruiser HMS line in this video. So, next up, we have the Zhao. This ship is incredibly team-dependent. It is incredibly team-dependent. You get a carrier on the enemy team, consider your butt gone. It just has... It takes a lot of skill to make use, and trust me, I still believe it is still one of the most powerful ships in this game. But it gets shut down so quickly and so easily. So if you just get a bad team, sometimes literally you load up into a game and literally you can see if this is going to be a good game or bad game. That's it. So right there, it's pretty straight there. Don't worry, if you want a torpedo boat for you in game, I have one still for you. Don't worry about that. Pietro. So a lot of people are going, but that got buffed too, and it got the leg mod and all this other. We're talking about free stuff here and such. So a base Pietro is still total crap. It is still total crap. Do not grind. Little in the grind. Talon's not bad for tier 8. The Riga for tier 9. Why is it so bad? It's a tier 9. Moskva. Wargaming. What the crap? Okay, but yeah, you need all 3 Infinity Stones to make the Pietro even competitive. If you have 2 of them, it's barely competitive. If you only have 1, it's playable. That's what I would say. And those are APCS, Makarov, and the Legion or Warbear camo. I can't remember what the name of it is. But yeah, at base, it's barely playable. So yeah, hopefully we'll get a Pietro buff eventually. I don't know. And when you have the 3 Infinity Stones of it, I think it's actually a pretty good ship. I think it is. It's just one of those things that's not per se all free, in my opinion, especially Makarov. Unless they eventually hand them out like per se Halsey or something, which would be absolutely nuts. And then finally, we're going to talk about the Marseille. So before this video goes live, there'll be another video of the patch notes. It has been adjusted. I'm removing it only because I want to play it more. I'm not quite sure those buffs are everything it needs, but it might be something where it might be usable. It might be niche. And overall, I'd actually argue the grind isn't all that bad, but it's not exactly all that good either. You know, it's kind of, either way. But, alright, so now we cleared off those lines. We've removed those. Let's actually talk about some good heavy cruisers in this game. So, most of them are higher tier because bigger guns, bigger tier, it's just better. It's just, they just do better. The middle tier heavy cruisers tend to always be missing something. They tend to, they're not quite there. There are a few lower tier ones here and there, but most of these are higher tiers. Sorry, that's just kind of the nature of these and such. So let's talk about snipers. Pretty much you have the Hindenburg, not the Rune, except unless you are in respawn. The Rune in respawn is actually legit pretty strong. For anyone who hasn't tried it, kind of hilarious. It works. So if you want to grind for the Hindi, do it all in tier 9 respawn. Highly would suggest that. Hipper, pretty decent sniper. Donskoy. These basically 3, like that, are insane snipers, and they kind of also bleed into the DD Hunter area too as well, just an FYI there. But the snipers, these things are accurate pinpoint, and they have amazing AP on all of these. They really do. The Hipper is not as good, but it's still, I'd say, better than what most people give it out to be. I think a lot of people give it a bad rap just because of the way that the line and the grind is, especially with the Rune being next. It's kind of like, why do you want to grind it? Next up, we have DD Hunters. Let's talk about, snipers. Of course, they work. Hindenburg is a great long-range DD destroyer, but in my opinion, overall, Venezia, Amalfi, rest in peace, Brindisi after that nerf, but the Amalfi and Venezia are they are the DD Hunters. They are, and they're fantastic. I would highly suggest them and such. They are in a great place, especially if you have Luigi Sansonetti on them. Just straight up, right back to darn good. Will say though, just like Soulfire said in the first part of this video, in his comment, Venezia can have a little bit of that team-dependent situation, but I think that just, it's more of what type of team comp there is. If there's not too many battleships, it's actually a pretty good ship. Torpedo boats. Let's actually talk about this. We're going right back to the Zhao line and such. Technically, the pimped Zhao. If you can get, per se, the leg mod for free, and you set up the concealment, and you get the camo, and maybe even get a pretty decent high-level commander on it, the pimped out Zhao is pretty good. It is. But if you want a lot cheaper and a lot easier, Miyoko Takao. These two are fantastic torpedo boats, and they're gun smack. They have that just enough AP pen that at close range, they feel like a Venezia line with their AP on DDs. You actually don't even want to shoot your HE at DDs unless it's kind of longer range. But yeah, these are great torpedo boats. I love playing my Takao every now and then. It is a fantastic ship. Miyoko's kind of aged, but at the same time, I still say it's pretty good. Next up, let's move on to more of a battlecruiser category. These are definitely not heavy cruisers, in my opinion. These are definitely battlecruisers, and I actually will say they're good. I enjoy them. I did Jean DeWitt and Golden Liu. They have big freaking guns. They drop airstrikes. You do not want to be near anything because they have 0% chance of actually defeating a DD if you decide to just go after it. Their HE is anemic. They still need some buffs, but in my opinion, they're unique enough and fun enough and rewarding enough now. I really do. I still think they need an airstrike buff. I think they just need the reload knocked off or have them all reload simultaneously, but either way, these are battlecruisers. They are fun. If you want to have some heavy hitting guns, drop some heavy hitting airstrikes on them every now and then. You have, if you aren't good at those, it's a little rough, but at the same time, when you do hit, oh man, especially Golden Liu's, that airstrike hurts. That does. I would highly suggest, and once again, the Eindrock is one of the best CLs in my opinion. The Harlem's kind of like an awkward duck there. It's just overshadowed by the DZP. But it's really not all that bad either. Jean DeWitt is a fun grind. Golden Liu, I just need to buy it and actually get my commander up and running on it all the way up. Now on to not a heavy cruiser area, and I'm going to add Firestarter in here too, because it is the HMS line. I did mention this earlier, that there was another HMS line, and everyone was going, but what's heavy cruiser? As much as the St. Vincent line will eventually come out, but that's more of a battle cruiser area. I don't know when that video will ever come out, if that ever really comes out, since there's really only like 2 in the game, really. But for not a heavy cruiser and Firestarter, I'm going with Monarch and Conqueror. I know a lot of people will say that this line still needs some buffs and probably needs that full extra heal thing that the Goliath has and Druid has and stuff like that. In my opinion, these ships right now are incredibly solid. If you know the difference of when to use HE, when to use AP, and you push hard with your team at times, these ships are nasty. And in a heavy cruiser role, they play it well. You want to destroy DDs, fire HE and start fires. Help out your team that way. Someone gets within 9 kilometers of you and they have a Citadel, pop that AP in and get Citadel crises. That AP is legitimately good at close range. And on top of it, Granddad's AA buffs happen, so these are actually pretty decent on AA. So in my opinion, just the Monarch, Conqueror, lying a little bit there, but the line's a little rough. The Duke, I think it's the Duke York, no, the King George V, there we go, that one. The King George V is also actually pretty decent now too. I think I have a video eventually coming up on that. But yeah, no, for not a heavy cruiser and a fire starter category, I would just go down Conqueror line. It's a fun time. I do not have a problem with it, and you run APCS if you don't have Nelson, you run IFHE Plus if you have Nelson, like that, and you just have a grand old time, in my opinion. So that's my not a heavy cruiser pick. Next up on the list, we're going to be talking about ambushing and the speedboat of all of the heavy cruisers in this game, in my opinion, that's got to go to the Henri line. The Henri line at about Charles Martel, St. Louis, and Henri, they become something completely different. You know, of course, you go from the La Gassière, which is a really good, solid light cruiser, to the Algerie, which is, it's okay. It's okay for tier 7. It's kind of in its awkward phase. Charles Martel, you start getting into the, okay, cool, you got 203s, and you got decent skills, and you can now become an ambush predator. These ships are fantastic. This is the type of idea where you are darting around the map and just hunting people. You are looking for 1v1 so that you can rip and tear, because the torpedoes are good, the guns are good, the AP's good, the HE, if you're per se, you didn't kill him immediately within your first ambush, or you got caught out, you can just run away and kite and dump a crap load of HE in them, and you'll still be doing a decent amount of damage on them. So, in my opinion, if you're wanting a super fast heavy cruiser to kind of be that ambush predator, and you're picking your targets very well, in my opinion, the Henri line is absolutely fantastic for that ambush predator type of idea. And also, once again, you're just darting around the field. So I've literally gone from one side of the field, killed 2 people, gone to the other side, killed 2 people, and literally made it up to shoot the carrier at the end of the game. Like, that's the Henri in a nutshell. It is an absolute fun time to play. Highly would suggest it. We'll say the St. Louis, it's a little bit in a rough area. We'll say that. If you're having a tough time, I feel ya. It's worth it. Henri's guns are fantastic. And now to the overall section here. I'm going to name one line and one ship here particularly, and then I'm also going to tell some people my opinions on this and why I chose this line as the best overall heavy cruiser. And for those who know, they pretty much know exactly which one I'm talking about already, and maybe even disagree with me. It's fine. Totally up for me. But overall, let's mention the Nevsky. I think it's a great light cruiser, heavy cruiser hybrid. It has amazing range, amazing guns, decent setup overall with the AA, precise aim, and radar all combined together. It's a really solid ship. Highly would suggest it. And once again, you have the sniper category with the Donskoy. Great heavy cruiser there as well. But let's talk about the best overall line for heavy cruisers, and this is the Des Moines line. New Orleans basically enough, in my opinion. I think that a lot of people give the Baltimore crap. It's got the tier 9 situation. But I also look at the Baltimore as that's when you need to change your philosophy on this line. So before basically tier 9, these ships are kind of your traditional heavy cruisers. They support your battleships, they support your cruisers, they support your DDs even. They go in hunting, they have pretty good AP, pretty good HE, nothing really special off the bat, right? But once you get to tier 9 and tier 10, you start getting rapid, good rapid reloads, and you get radar at tier 10 and such. I still think the Baltimore deserves a radar too as well, but overall, you change your philosophy. You no longer are kind of this more open water ship that can kind of just do about everything. You are now specializing. You are now specializing in dang good AA, great bow tanking, decent armor, and then on top of it, you have the skills and capabilities to say, this is my cap. This is the only cap I care about. And I will hold this cap until I die. And I will do a damn good job before I die doing it. That is basically the creed of Des Moines. Des Moines is absolutely great at cap contestation. You have a DD in there, use your radar, get them out. You have a cruiser, you have AP, and your secondaries will murder them. You have a battleship, you can bow tank and absolutely rip and tear them through HE, AP, doesn't matter. God forbid you in a brawl with your rapid reload available, these things print big calibers. They print them. They are devastating. And on top of it, you're alone and a carrier starts coming at you, you have pretty decent AA to defend yourself. They are a fantastic line, but you really have to change up your ideology on this line. Moment you hit 9, you find an island, you find a cap, that is your cap, you defend it. You defend it how you need to. That is your goal. Boom, done. Now that you are no longer a basic heavy cruiser, you are now a heavy cruiser that can literally just sit at a cap and deal with just about anything they send at you. And what's not to want about that? What's not to want about that? So, yeah, in my opinion, as much as... I don't think you can see the whole page on that one, but as much as the state of heavy cruisers in this game for free are not in a great position, and I'm also not looking forward to if the Marseille buffs aren't enough, I'm hoping that they don't just add a leg mod just like they did Pietro in order to make it good. type of thing. But yeah, for me, heavy cruisers in this game, there's a lot of things that need to change. I know I suggested the Hindenburg. I don't like the Hindenburg myself, but I can see people use it and use it well. So I have to give it the props where props is due, in my opinion. But yeah, to have most of the tier 10s, or a good chunk of the tier 10s, just straight up not even suggested is not a really good state for heavy cruisers in this game. And I really wish they would be better. Because, I had another intro to this video that I actually wanted to do because I just kind of wanted to articulate myself better on this. But I just didn't think it would be a great one for everyone. But for anyone in the comment section down below, letting me know, of course, what your picks are for the best heavy cruisers in this game. For people who play heavy cruisers, I want you to just take this moment, free or premium, doesn't matter. Name the best 5 heavy cruisers in this game. I want to bet about 80 to 100% of that top 5 are premiums. They just are. They just are clearly better. So that's kind of the problem, and I don't like that idea. I do know at least like a lot of them are offered for free, through the shipyard often, so I'm okay with that overall, but it's just, yeah, I really wish the state of heavy cruisers were better in this game, because there's a lot of situations where you get yourself into a heavy cruiser and unfortunately just battleships are better, or hey, you just don't have the equipment like a Golden Leo to actually handle anything that comes after you and runs you down. It's not exactly a fun time, and I really wish the overall meta was better. I wish the bad ships would be brought up and the good ships were kind of just given a little quality of life, because in my opinion, like especially the Des Moines or the Nevsky, they literally need small stat buffs, soft stat buff changes to make them really work. But let me know in the comment section down below what your favorite heavy cruisers in World of Warships Blitz are. I am definitely still going to be testing the Marseille since the changes, as this video was recorded prior to the update going live. Hopefully it's helped it enough. That grind isn't too bad. It's kind of very basic and okay. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are down below. If you did enjoy this video, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, hit the notification bell to see whenever a new video goes live or stream goes live. Hopefully you all have it. Peace.
Fast reload activated.